Right, we are down the boat doing some maintenance, and we're going to be putting in the lithium battery today. Now, I did explain on a previous video that I was going to put it in here and put a box, but I've actually changed my plans on that. Now, originally we were going to put the battery in here, but I would have had to have made a floor for it, and by doing that I didn't want to block off the floor right to the floor, so to stop the water moving around in the boat, because you need the water to come around for the pump anyway. And by putting the floor there, if I raised it off the ground, then I run the risk of dirt and muck getting trapped underneath it, or even lobsters, crabs crawling underneath it and wedging themselves underneath that. So I decided against it in the end. I thought we're just going to take it up to the front. We had enough cable and equipment to do this, so we decided to move it up to the front. Plus you've got the float switch. This is a backup float switch. We have two in here. We have this one and an electronic one inside, so we've got two there, and that could have got in the way of that as well, and that would have been relocating that. So in the end, after much thought and deliberation, I decided to put it up the front again here under this seat, and I'm just going to run a slightly longer wire down to it. Now, I bought some wire, this stuff. I've done the mathematics on it, and this is one grade higher than I technically need for it, or the grade that they recommend. I've gone one grade higher to make sure that we don't get any problems. I found the problem with the charging down there. There's a corroded wire back there, so I'm going to strip all that out and replace it with these. And of course I've got the engine wire, which is going to come in where I have to connect it, and then like I said, we'll be putting this in. So anyway, this is going to be a lot bigger than the battery we normally have. The one in there is about 83 amp, and this is 100 amp. But again, like I said, it's a lithium one, so you can see it's very easy to lift. Makes my job easier working with things like this on the boat, and I don't like stuff in the boat that weighs the boat down, so I like to keep the boat nice and light. I've got the multimeter to check all the other wires for everything else, because we do have a issue with the float switch stopped working in the winter. And again, I'm going to rewire all of it. I just do the whole lot, so I know it's all secure for the season. The wiring's been in a few years now, so about time it had to gets redone, because obviously there's a lot of water in this boat with all the fishing. You know, you can't keep things, you can keep them as dry as you can pretty much, but that sort of always manages to find its way into the wires. Right, let's get on with it. Somebody's peering over the top. So anyway, I found the fault. It was actually further up right at the end of the line, so these wires actually still do work. So what I'm doing is I'm setting them up so they can be attached to the other wire from the engine if I need to, and I'm just taping them up. I'm just going to keep them in. Underneath here is pretty much spare wires. They'll just sit under there doing nothing, and I'm going to put in the new wires, which are, well, one's hanging up there from that box, and I'll put in the new wires and we'll use those for now. I'll just keep these under here for a spare if I ever need to add anything electric to the back, in case I put a different engine on. I can put a different connection on, that kind of thing, instead of taking them all the way out. But they do work. I've tested them, they're fine, and the wire when you cut it back is pretty good as well. So, but the new wires will be a better option anyway. You can see we're working on all the wiring and that there. I've taken the front out. That battery will be going in, and I'll be fixing it down in the front so it doesn't jump around, because it is a bit lighter, so I don't want it flying around. And then the front will be bolted back on, and that'll be our electric sorted. Plus it's probably better to have the weight in the front anyway. So the battery will be going in here on a mat like this, and it will be locked in position. I've just got to adjust it and strap down as well, so it can't move. Right, so the bracket goes around and slide around. We just need to get a strap under there. There we go. Perfect. There we have it, the battery is installed. I've just got to screw down and I've got a strap over the top to secure it, and then I've got to bolt on the cuddy, lock it all down, and we're good to go. Everything's working. So I've tested everything and everything's working fine. We've got the old battery here, which is a lot heavier than the other one, and this is a 76 amp one compared to the 100 amp one. So if you want to find out more about these batteries and other batteries, they have some even bigger batteries, and there's a lot bigger. I will leave a link in the description down there, and if you just follow that link, it'll take you to their site and you can have a look at all the different batteries. I'm quite eager to see how this is going to turn out because it's so much lighter, eh?
It is.
I mean, the weight alone.
Yeah.
Hopefully the boat doesn't do that.
Well, that's what you said, wasn't it, about keeping the weight down in the boat? So that makes a big difference.
I like to keep the boat weight down because we like to get up on the plane, but of course you've got to have it balanced as well. But when Rebecca's in the front, it adds the weight to the front. I'm not saying you're fat or anything, but yeah, quick, save myself there. So yeah, hopefully it'll work out really well, and it'll be good, because I know when we get fish in the boat quite often, you feel that drag because you've got the extra weight in. Yeah. So plus if we need to take it out and do anything with it, it's much easier to maneuver around and get out. You know, because obviously we've got to unbolt it all and get it all out, and it's a real pain to remove it. So when it's a lead one, but being it's nice and light, we should be right. Anyway, we're fast tracking to see if we can get down. I think the weather's supposed to be improving soon, so hopefully we'll get out and get some fishing done with the boot once it's all done. You're doing some painting at the moment.
Yeah, I've done the anti-fouling.
So the anti-fouling's done. We fixed the keel band, now is actually done, or fixed on. I'll show you that in a minute. And yeah, we're almost good to go. So this is a leak we had on the hull. What it was is, this was a runner on one side of the boat. Now you can see this is a replacement that's been put on there, but it's a very heavy steel one, and much heavier than a normal keel band. There you go, just under 5 pounds in weight. Now you can see it's screwed on, and it's got sealant, a lot of sealant. You can see how thick it is underneath. That was put underneath it, like there, see? The trouble is that was stuck underneath, so I know it was leaking from here, so I put a screwdriver under and I just pulled it, and literally this just came out the hole. So it's been loose in the hole on the end here where the screws are. So the water's been seeping its way slowly through the screw into the hull. So I decided to take this off. This is the one I'd never replaced, because I replaced the other ones, which were, well, they were rotten, they were very thin metal. This has obviously been put on at a later date, and like I say, it's a huge great chunk. The trouble with the Orkneys is the fiberglass is very thin. You can probably see it there. It's no thicker than a centimetre, the fiberglass on the bottom of the Orkney. So when you screw this in, that's all that's holding it. So having a great big heavy thing like that is probably not the best idea. That's probably why there's so much glue on it, so it wouldn't move. So anyway, if you whack this or knock it, it's gonna stress on the screws and you're gonna obviously loosen it, and that's what's happened, and then the water seeped up inside. So anyway, I've taken that off and I'll be replacing it with it's like an acrylic kind of keel band. Now I've been using these as long as I can remember, the acrylic ones on the keel, and usually once you put this on, you won't need to replace it. They're very hard, and of course it's light, so it's not going to have that effect on the screws of pulling out. It'll also, if it does knock anything, it has a little bit of give, unlike the steel, which will transfer the force through to the screw. So I'm going to be replacing it with this. We did the keel band and on the main part of the hull when I first got the boat some years back, and now we're just going to replace this one, because like I said, I never got around to it, because I thought that would be fine, nice heavy band, but then I didn't realise how thin the keel was, or how thin the fiberglass was. So I've marked it out, and all I'll do is where it turns up, like you see there on the metal, I will literally just, you put a blow lamp carefully on it, heat it gently, then you can just bend it to that shape and then hold it, cools off, and it'll be in that shape. Now just got to drill it, screw it, and put a bit of like mastic on the back like that, and it'll be good to go. So I've just had the dinghy over and I'm just running some sealant along where the joins are. We had a slight leak. I know where it's coming from. It's coming from one of these rivets here, but I've hammered the rivet to stretch it out, and I'll just put a bit of sealant on the inside, and I've sealed over the whole lot, just to double seal it kind of thing. So that's all right, just need a bit more work on that. And there's the keel band under there. Band's done. Screwed with like a mastic for underwater on it as well, and that'll do. That should sort that leak out. We did fiberglass over the holes, put resin in the hole, fiberglass over the hole, and then the mastic and the band screwed into different holes, some new holes. So what we've got to do now is polish this up, sort this cover out, get that waxed, and yeah, we're almost there.